The Arabia left St. Louis in August of 1856, heading to the frontier. And in August, late August especially, people on the frontier are thinking, hey, winter's coming. You know, it won't be long until ice forms on the river and steamboats can't reach us any longer. And that's the primary way of getting supplies to them then. There weren't trains and all that. It carried heavy wool coats and wool pants and lots of boots and shoes and, you know, the warm things that people would need to sustain them until spring. Unfortunately, the supply of freight never reached those people. It sank here near Kansas City. It took it about 5 days or 6 to travel across the state. It made little stops. It didn't stop to unload freight. All of its freight would have been delivered to 16 towns north and west of Kansas City. So everything was still on this boat when it passed Kansas City. Well, my family, Dad and Mom and Greg and I, ran a heating and air conditioning business. Did 4 years out of our home in Independence. And one day, I was given my little list of things to fix. It was early summer, it was getting hot, and there was a guy that out east a little bit that had a problem with his air conditioner. When I went inside to his house to adjust the thermostat on his wall just to make sure it ran, it was all good, I looked into a little room that he had fixed up into an office. And on the back wall, he had pictures of old steamboats and maps and cool things. And so I thought, that's kind of neat. It sank in Missouri, but we dug it in Kansas. We said, how'd that happen? Well, when it sank in 1856, went down deep, and about 20 years later, the river had changed its course and it moved east. And so it was in a farmer's field a half a mile on the Kansas side of the river. Our day was a long day. It started at 6, and that's when the heating and air conditioning, we had to still do that. We still had customers that had no heat, and so we worked on furnaces from 6 until 9 or 9:30, got to the river by 10 and worked there until 6 or 7, cleaned artifacts from 8 to midnight, and midnight to 6 was dinner and bedtime, and we started again at 6. That was our day. We all had our favorite things that we would find. Mine, I think, was an odd thing. It was the cases of pie fillings. We found boxes labeled 12 assorted pie fruits. Open the lid, rows of bottles inside. Once taken out and washed off, the clear glass bottles allowed you to look right into the contents. There was apples and gooseberries and cherries and rhubarb, all brilliantly colored. You could have made pies with them, I'm sure. We found about 3 million Indian trade beads. Okay, the little beads the Indians sewed on their clothes, a lot of those. Found 4,000 or thereabouts boots and shoes. Just tons of hardware, nails, screws, doorknobs, hinges, things to build houses with. Lots of dishes, beautiful dishes. We got guns and sewing supplies and needles and thread and buttons. Love it. We've got the big working paddle wheel. The engine runs. You can see this 28-foot tall paddle wheel turn in a pool of water. The people who come to visit this collection are as diverse as the collection itself. Most of the people who come here say, you know, I don't really particularly like to go to museums, but there's something about this one. I've been back several times. I bring people because there's a little something for everybody. There's the tools, there's the things that they wanted on the frontier. It's something about treasure hunting. There's just something about treasure hunting that has very broad-based appeal.